local and federal investigators are trying to figure out what went wrong when a hot air balloon crashed in Eloy, killing 4 people. There were 13 people in that hot air balloon basket Sunday morning, and skydivers, 8 of them, jumped out. Then detectives say something went terribly wrong. Eloy police just released the names of the 4 who died: Chayton Weisschelek, Caitlin Bartum, Adahan Kilcote, and Cornelius Vanderwalt of Eloy, who was piloting that hot air balloon. Sarah Robinson gets us caught up with the very latest now on where things stand.
So devastating for the skydiving community and, of course, the family of these victims. To put this in perspective, these types of crashes are very rare. This is now the country's deadliest hot air balloon crash since 2021. And the last time our state saw a deadly hot air balloon crash was back in 2005. So let's take you now to where this happened. The skydivers were jumping toward the Eloy Municipal Airport off of Sunshine Boulevard and Hannah Road. Eloy, Arizona is about an hour southeast of the valley. And we know that there were 8 skydivers on board. They jumped out and landed safely before there was a problem with the inflation of the balloon. All 4 spectators and the pilot were still in the gondola of the balloon when it crashed. 1 person died at the scene and 4 others were rushed to the hospital. 4 people are now dead and 1 remains in critical condition. All of the victims are adults, and police have not yet released all of their names. We know not all of them are from Arizona. We did hear from the mother of one of the victims. Her 28-year-old daughter, Katie Bartum, was from Fort Wayne, Indiana. She was here on an adventure trip with friends. Katie is a skydiver, but she was watching that day. She recently became a registered nurse. Her mom says she died doing what she loved. Eloy police say the skydiving community is tight-knit there and beloved, and usually they have no issues.
The city of Eloy is a close-knit community with a high, very large skydive community presence here. We have the world's largest drop zone. And so when this occurs into our community, it affects us.
Police say they are looking into the intended flight path of the balloon and if there were any wind conditions that could have caused this. An eyewitness at the scene says they saw the balloon deflate and fall from the sky. Eloy police, the FAA, and the National Transportation Safety Board are all investigating. Of course, we will keep you updated with any new information and as we learn the names of all of the victims. Back to you.